Yo, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a good day today and that the rest of your Wednesday is great, even though it's rainy, because you are amazing. I'm driving right now, and I'm thinking about my wife was telling me a story yesterday, and her story illustrated a point for me that sometimes it's super important, or many times it's super important to think about what you're doing carefully before you act. Think, then act. Many times that's very important to your life and can save you a whole lot of trouble, because sometimes when we act before we think, and I say this to my students first, think first, do second, act second, or I'll say, hey, think first, talk second. And that's a good rule for life as you go, to think about what you're doing before you act. Think about what you're going to say before you open your mouth, and sometimes you can save yourself a bit of trouble, because once you act, what they say, you can't put that bullet back in the gun. Once you've let it out, you can't unlet it out. It's out. And so I got thinking about today. She was telling me a story yesterday. We have a friend, Gene Beckering. Many of you may know them, a lot of you may not. A friend from high school, and she was walking up on him we were going to an assembly at the high school, and so Maria saw Gene sitting a few rows up there in the auditorium, and she was walking up behind him, and so she sneaks up behind him and smacks him in the head, which is normally okay, but the only problem was she didn't think carefully or look carefully, and when she got a little farther past slapping who she thought Gene was in the head, wasn't Gene at all, so she just slapped a random stranger in the head. And the only problem is, so can you imagine some guy sitting in his seat and some random lady comes up behind him and whack in the back of his head, like, what the flag done? And Maria's like, sorry, but too late. Sorry doesn't cut it, because the slap has already been let out. And this noise ringing across the auditorium of this little lady smacking some random stranger in the head, and then realizing, wow, you're not somebody I know at all, and then having to go through the awkward apology of, sorry, I thought it was you were somebody I knew. And which is hilarious to me, maybe not so hilarious to the guy. And but that's a great illustration to sometimes just make sure before you let that action out, or think carefully before you say it, because once you slap somebody, you can't unslap them. And that bullet just does not go back in that gun. And many, many, many times in life, I think all of us have been the same. You're like, man, I wish I had thought about that a little more clearly before I did it. I wish I had thought through the end result of that before I said this or that to him or her. And we see a lot of this going on in our culture right now, where people are just not thinking about what they're doing or what they're saying, and not having a long range thought or a quality long range plan about what they're doing and how they're being, and what the long term results of those things are, and they can't undo it once they've done it. So anyway, I hope that helps you, and think about that as you go. Think about when you're gonna act in a way or talk in a way to someone. Just think about my wife smacking a random stranger in the head and wishing that she could retract the smack, and knowing that she couldn't. So get out there today, folks. Gain yards in all you do. Please take care of your mindset, because it matters. I love you. Peace.